the ocean, the top or the tip of the iceberg. And Ban Ki-moon is saying that the chemical weapons attack of August the 21st is only the tip of the iceberg. If you remember the sinking of the Titanic in 1912, well, it didn't exactly hit the tip of the iceberg, because icebergs are tricky. The Titanic actually went to the side of the tip, but under the water, that could be the rest of the iceberg. The tip is only the little bit that you see. When the Titanic hit, it was in the water, and it hit in here, and it tore and so the tip of the iceberg, what Ban Ki-moon is saying, that the chemical weapons attack of August 21st, with the chemical weapons that are banned, was only a small part of the whole problem. Yeah, it's terrible that there's a tip to the iceberg. It's terrible, but it's only a small part of the whole problem. There is a bigger problem under the water that maybe is not immediately seen, as in the case of the Titanic. He's saying that it's only the tip of the iceberg, because there is a bigger problem. Yeah, the tip is a problem. You got to be careful. You don't want to run into it. It's a problem, but it's not the whole problem, because underneath there is a greater problem. The August 21st attack, as bad as it was, and as evil as it was only a small part of a bigger problem. So what did he do? He told the major powers, England, United States, Russia, France, Germany, he pushed the major powers to take a bigger look, a broader look, not a narrow view of the one attack. The narrow view, August 21st, that's the only problem. Nothing else is wrong. No, there is a bigger problem. That August 21st is only the tip of a much broader problem. And that's what Ban Ki-moon is asking the major powers to do, is to tackle, to bring down the fighting, yes, the fighting, as well as the problems being faced by the human population in Syria, the strife, the chemical weapons attack, the buildings being blown up. They have to leave their homes. They have to flee the country. This is known as humanitarian strife, struggles to survive. He wants you not only to stop the fighting between the rebels and the government of Syria, but also to help stop the humanitarian disaster, the strife that they're facing. They have to leave the country. They have to leave their homes. They're starving. There's no food. The buildings and cities are being destroyed. There's over 100,000 dead. Humanitarian strife. So it's a pretty bad scene. And the attack of August 21st, according to the UN chief, is only the tip of a very big iceberg. Tip of an iceberg.
Border is actually not R-N. Border.
B-R-O.
Broader.
B-R-O.
No R.
อะไร
No R-N. Border.
เขาเพิ่มอะไรวะ
แล้วกว้างออกไป
Take a broader. You can broaden your look. You can broaden your look. But you take a broader look. I mean, there is a word. Yeah, I can broaden. Broader.
B-R-O.
Here is R. In the case of, I am asking you to broaden your look. I broaden your look. Please, take a broader look.
Border is very large.
Yeah, but But in this case, it's ER. If I said to you, Mr. Rector, please broaden your view, take a wider view, broaden your view. I'm asking that you take a broader view. It changes depending on who's saying it and how you're using it. It changes from broaden to broader, or broader to broader.
Yeah, thank you.
But in this case, he urged the major powers to take a broader look. Or he urged the major powers to broaden their look. The words kind of change as you change either the meaning or the use of it. It can change, so that's a tricky part. It's something that takes practice and to be familiar with. You look at it and say, well, why can't it be? Well, it can, but you have to kind of rework the sentence to make it broaden instead of broaden. No big deal. Any questions about this? Tip of the iceberg?
Ban weapons.
Using the banned weapons, the weapons that are forbidden to be used, the chemical weapons are forbidden.
Forbidden.
Yeah, they can't be used, banned, cannot be used. OPCW and the United Nations has said these weapons cannot be made, they cannot be stored, they cannot be held, and they cannot be used. They are banned.
Future ban is a sanction.
You can say that it's a sanction, yeah. It's something that's pressed against you for whatever reason. If I said, there is no smoking permitted in this classroom, what I'm saying to you is that if you have cigarettes, you have a pipe, you have cigars, or you have a piece of paper and a match, you cannot smoke in this room. Smoking is banned. No smoking. Well, teacher, can I smoke just this little pipe? I just have this little pipe. Smoking is banned. Out. No way. And in this case, the chemical weapons are banned. No. All smoking is banned. That doesn't mean, well, except if you're smoking cigarettes made in America. No, banned. Out. Disclosure, the revelation, the revealing comes as envoys struggle, fight. Well, mentally struggle and maybe verbally argue. They use the word, it's not a physical thing. To tackle is to bring down, to hold on to, and to stop. Tackle the problem is to take the problem and try to resolve it. To tackle the fighting as well as the humanitarian strife. The problems that people are facing because of this civil war in Syria. Any other questions?
Question. Weapons for destruction. Weapons for destruction.
A resolution to enshrine the deal, to make the deal the most important, definite thing they can, under which Syria is handing over, here they are, Syria is handing over. It's like if you said, I want all the erasers in the room. Oh, here's mine. I'm handing over the eraser. In this case, Syria is handing over the chemical weapons so that the United Nations can take those chemical weapons and destroy them. Destroy. Yeah, kill.
To broke down.
Well, to break them. It's a little more than break, but to destroy. It's like, taking a box with chemical weapons and destroying them. They don't exist anymore. that's what
Destruction.
the agreement is, the deal under which Syria is handing over the chemical weapons to be destroyed by the United Nations OPCW.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, no.
Disclosure, envoys, resolution, enshrine, handing over chemical destruction to destroy, ruin, get rid of. Tip of the iceberg, forbidden weapons banned by the United Nations, urged, pushed the major powers to take a wider, broader view or look to tackle the fighting as well as the humanitarian strife, the problems faced by the human population in Syria.
Teacher, the tip of the iceberg is that India.
Yeah. It refers to the small part of a bigger problem. You can see the tip. There it is. You're in the ship. There's the tip. You can see it. But there is actually a bigger part. Because berg is what? It's a German word. And what does it mean?
Big
Mountain.
mountain.
So it's a mountain of ice. And a mountain is not necessarily a little hill. The berg, a lot of it, except for the tip, is underwater. So while you see a small problem, there it is. Whoa. There it is. Believe me, a bigger problem
And then
underneath the little thing you see. So he's saying that August 21st attack was terrible, it was really bad, but there is a bigger problem. The fighting, 100,000 dead, pretty big problem. Humanitarian strife, millions of people fleeing the country. Yeah, August 21st was the tip of a very big iceberg. Okay?
Teacher, ask means when. Ask the humanitarian style. Ask means when.
Broader look to tackle the fighting as well as. As well as means also. The fighting and also the humanitarian strife. Broader look to tackle the fighting and also the humanitarian strife. The fighting as well as the humanitarian strife. Yeah, it's like one thing, as well as. As well as this, as well as that.
The same way.
And also the humanitarian strife. You could check, you could drop as
Humanitarian
well as.
style. People, you have look at people escape.
Well, humanitarian strife in this particular case, you have the Syrian population is caught in the middle of a civil war. You've got rebels fighting against the government. No holds barred. They're blowing up houses. If you look at the paper today, there's pictures in there, the cities are blown apart. Buildings destroyed, everything. People live in those places. They have to evacuate the country. That's why in Turkey and in Lebanon and places like that, there are tens of thousands of Syrian people running away. People are starving. People are being killed by chemical weapons. It's also known as, in a general way, a general term, humanitarian strife. Bodies all up, 100,000 dead. Whoa. Humanitarian strife. The disaster that is occurring in Syria, as Ban Ki-moon said, is much bigger than the actual August 21st attack. there are bigger and bigger and bigger problems. And humanitarian strife is one of the biggest problems. Any other questions? Pronunciation. Band. Humanitarian. Resolution. Envoys. Envoys. The ambassadors sent out, the ambassadors and the statesmen sent out to represent the country are envoys, people that are sent to go here, go there for one reason or another. International representatives, envoys. The American envoy, the Thai envoy, representative to a foreign country, to an international meeting, in this case the United Nations. Representative. International representative. Sent to the UN. The Thai government, I'm sure, has envoys at the UN.
From the members of UN.
Right, the Thai government in Bangkok said to this guy, that guy, and this lady, you are the envoys, go to New York, to the United Nations, and represent Thailand. Yes, we will. And off they go. Sent as envoys. Any other questions about the...
Teacher, entirely understanding.
Entirely
Understanding. Entirely understanding. Entirely.
I understand it entirely.
I understand entirely.
I understand it. It being what's on the wall, on the board, entirely. What?
The meaning, the pronunciation.
No, now what should you say? You should say to me, I understand it entirely.
I understand it entirely.
Okay. All right. We'll let that go.
โดยสิ้นเชิงอะไรอย่าใช้ ไม่ใช้ได้ไงต้องในโอกาสที่มันเหมาะ
ที่ไหนดีอยากได้ไหมใจกดที่เอ็นมันไม่ใช่แต่ว่าเข้าใจที่เสร็จไม่ได้กดที่เอ็นไม่เปลี่ยนต้องให้ปากกาไม่ให้เสียงพวกเราเนี่ย
Oh, thank you.
เนี่ยมุมมองไม่ดู
开始了，给快点。
เข้าแนวเข้าแนว
วางไว้
ต้องเป็นทิ้งเลยทิ้ง
ทิ้งเลยไม่ถึงไม่แก่
ตีเลยพี่จัดการให้
แม่ยกให้แม่
ไม่เห็น
จัดการเลยพี่คุย
ฟังไม่รู้ไม่เห็น
ช่วยดู
เพราะมันขาวมันแค่โชกมา
Okay, I got about this. Trying to find it.
Rồiเสียหน้าเลยไหม
อ้าวจะเขียนอีกเหรอ
อ้าวเขียนไปเถอะ
11 โมงแล้วอ่ะ
เอาเขียนหน้าเอานี่ไงเขียนหน้าตรงนี้ไงเขียนข้างๆไม่ใช่หรอกปากกาดินี่มันปากกาไหนเลย
นี่อันใหม่
ซอฟไม่ได้
Should test them on wall in office, then bring to play. Widespread. Oh, here we go. Wow.
เอาวันนี้เลยก็8 วัน
ใช่
Much better.
ไอ้คือมันอะไร receive อะไรอ่ะ W I I
wide spread
W I I
ขยายกว้างขึ้น
W I I
The way I D E
W I D E อ๋อ D E
widespread WID
international D D W I D นะ
I D E
D Y เรียกว่า W I D
wide
spread ถูกแล้ว I D 北京吗？